Well, I'd like to make a short video on this truck right here. I know that some of the people that watch my videos are probably wondering what that truck is in the background. So here it is. It's a 1962 351A Peterbilt. It has a 1673 Caterpillar engine and two 4-speed transmissions in it. The main is direct and the auxiliary is overdrive. This truck is from California. It was a boom truck, like a National Grid truck or whatever, to do electric service in California. It's been in New York State about, I'd say 20 years or so. When I got this truck, it was pretty rough shape. It didn't run, nothing worked, so I went through it and replumbed it, rewired it, got the engine running. It's obviously a work in progress. I sandblasted and painted the dashboard and all new gauges, and still needs a lot of work to go, but it's a work in progress. So doesn't go very fast, 583 gears in it, and it'll do 55 comfortably, but anything faster than that you have to wind it right out. I have all the glass cut for it, I just haven't put it in yet because I haven't painted anything. The doors and the fenders are in primer underneath the brown paint. The rest of the truck still needs to be stripped and the body work done. My goal was just to make it look like the Dual truck for now from that movie. Till I paint it. I'll probably paint it like a candy apple red or something like that. Show you the other side. I just threw this wooden box on it from my International for now. Not sure what I'm going to do. I had it for a tractor for a little while, and then I took the fifth wheel off because I don't have any trailers anymore, and just threw this box on it when I put the dump box on my International. This is the driver's side. Let's get the hood opened up so you can see under the hood. Here's the engine. It's just a little bit at a time I've been doing on this. There's that side. Yeah, this didn't run when I got it. I mean, it did, but it had a lot of trouble, so I went right through it and changed all the fluids and filters and all that stuff. And actually, let me get this side open. The first time I took it for a ride, when I got it drivable, the turbo blew, the impeller, the compressor impeller came apart, and luckily nothing went in the motor. So of course you can't find anything for this engine, you know, it's a 1673, and the industrial version of it is the D333. So at the time I had a 1.5 Army truck. I took the turbo off of that and put it on this to see if it would work. The engines are somewhat similar cubic inch. This one's about 200 cubic inches bigger roughly, but so I ended up buying a turbo for a 1.5, an M35A2, and putting that on it and just plumbing it in for with PVC pipes. Go figure, about a year ago I actually came across the correct turbo for this truck. This one works, but it is a little bit too small. The Army truck engine's 478 cubic inch and this is 632. So I mean, it is smaller, but that's all I could get at the time. So I'll be doing a video on that when I put the correct turbo on this truck. So there's no brakes on the steering axle, and eventually I really like the way it looks with the tandems, but eventually I'll probably get a air ride single, like a Pete Airleaf, with some good gears in it, and put that in it so I can really cruise. Probably replace the steering axle eventually and get something that has brakes on it. Frame on this truck's all aluminum. That's what the 351A stands for. Everything's aluminum. So actually this truck hasn't been running in about 3 months because it's the winter time and I don't drive it in the winter. So why don't we throw a battery in it and see if she'll fire up. And I'm not going to drive it for you yet. I'll drive it in the spring, but at least hear this thing run. I love the sound these old pre-cup cats make. Sounds like a bunch of marbles rolling around inside the motor. I'd sit here and listen to this thing idle all day. So let's throw a battery in it and get her started up. Let's get the battery in. I always take the battery out in the winter time so it doesn't kill it. It doesn't get driven. Should have like 2 or 3 batteries, but one usually works good enough, as long as I don't crank it too long. Definitely isn't going to hurt it to run for a little bit. Bring you over here. I'm just going to leave this camera here for a while, because if you're anything like I am, I can sit and listen to this thing idle all day. It sounds so good. I think this is by far my favorite kind of engine, these old pre-cup cats. They just sound awesome. So I guess just sit back and enjoy the music. Alright, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. She's warmed up now. So let's give her a little bit of throttle. Well, there's the old 62 Pete for you. There's one cool truck, man. There's not many of these around anymore. So, yeah, I'll be doing some work to this come spring here. First thing I'm going to do is put the correct turbo on it. The correct turbo would actually whistle quite a bit more than, I don't think this one whistles at all, actually. I don't know, maybe it does. I never had a camera up there like I had, so I don't think it does though. So, yeah, it's a cool old truck. Be doing the body work on it and putting a new glass in it hopefully this year. I've been saying that for the last 5 years though, so I don't know, it'll get there eventually. They're never done. Projects are never done. So yeah, I got some pictures of this thing, like a photo album. I'll run you guys through so you can see what I did on it, part of it, and I guess I'll catch up with this truck in the spring when the weather gets nicer. I'll go through this photo album with everybody real quick when I got the truck. So yeah, it's in pretty rough shape, but anything can be fixed. 2015, that's when I got her. There she is. Try to get way out of the light here. There's not much of a glare. Yeah. I seen this and I just had to have it. It's one of those things that you had to have. There's when it got delivered right there when I first got it. It was a pretty happy day. And, these are the pictures when I went and looked at it. I took a whole bunch of pictures. Let me do something different with this light situation here. Let's come over to this bench. Might be better. Garage is a mess. Let's see if that's any better. Not much. A little bit. So, yeah, where were we? I guess the right thing to do would be to scan all these pictures and then I could just add them into the video, but it's not high tech yet. There's some more pictures. And I did a lot of work to this thing so far just to get it. This is probably annoying for whoever is watching this. I'm sorry. Here's the inside right here. That was pretty trash. There was bullet holes in the cab and everything. Bullet holes in the glass. So, I think she did spend some time out in the Wild West somewhere. People taking pop shots. There's a bullet hole right there in that vent window. Had the old tachograph in it. Squealer. I don't know what some of the old school guys used to call them, squealers, I think. Some B model Max in the background. This guy had quite the collection. When I went and looked at this thing, I wish I had an unlimited checkbook. First day, back when I still had all my hair. That was nice. I had those old style brake chambers on it. I remember I went to cage these and the caging bolt had just crushed the can, so that was kind of scary because I didn't know if a spring was going to come out and take my head off or what. But, so the story behind this Peterbilt is I used to have this truck here. This truck was cool in 1972 Kenworth, and that had a 1674 cat in it with a 10-speed, and it was a nice truck, but it had some trouble. It was getting oil in the water and water in the oil, and yeah, I don't know what it was. It could have been it could have been an oil cooler or whatever. But I told the guy that, and we ended up making a deal on that Pete with this Kenworth, because it was a narrow-nosed Kenworth, but I mean that Pete is still a lot more rare than this. I definitely miss this truck, but no, he was all right. That's what the Kenworth started out as a dump truck, and my cousin actually did all the work on it to do that, and then I did some work when I got it. But yeah, I don't know what the problem was with the motor. I think it was something a little more serious than just an oil cooler or a head gasket, because this thing let me tell you what, on a 90-degree day, it would have a hard time starting without ether. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So, but the guy that I got the peat from was a big Kenworth guy. So we did a deal on that, and the peat is rough. Some people probably think I'm out of my mind. There's the Kenworth when it's the last time I seen her right there. But this peat is a lot more desirable, and when it's fixed up, this thing is going to be cool. But there's where I started doing the restoration on it. Took doors off. Started tearing everything down. There was a lot of work tearing all this stuff off. I completely gutted the whole entire wiring harness and the plumbing on it. Just ripped it right out. New brake cans. And I just did everything. Just started right over. I took the grill apart. It had the shutters in it that open and close when the temperature changes in the radiator. I took that all apart, and I was going to polish all those, but I decided to paint them black because I'm lazy. But looking back, I wish I would have polished them, but it still looks pretty cool. It was a lot of work taking that grill apart. There's a lot of pieces in that grill. But I painted all those black. Right there. Better look at some of this stuff. And, there's the grill shell right there hanging. And I polished that grill. That grill was a lot of work to polish the casings and everything. That's a visor off of my 379 that I had. The original visor. I'm probably going to work that out to something eventually. But yeah, that was a lot of work. I don't know what they painted this truck with. Whatever they painted this thing with reminds me of that whitewash stuff that they used to use in the barn. Yeah, see, there's the grill right there. A little spot I polished. A lot of hours right there. A lot of hours listening to music. Yeah, I don't know what they painted this truck with, but yeah, it was like a 1/4 inch thick, it seemed like. Stripped it all down. There's those grill casings there. Actually, there's a before and an after. So anybody that polishes aluminum can just imagine how much time and effort was spent in that. Some more pictures of doing the body work on the door. Those are the 2 fenders in the background and the other door. The fenders are actually the only thing on this truck that is steel. Everything else is aluminum. And surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, because the truck's from California, those fenders were pretty cherry. Just a little bit of rust that I had to deal with, and one of them was cracked. I believe one of these doors here had a pretty nasty dent in it, and I was able to heat the material up and get the dent out. Priming the doors right there. So yeah, the doors are primered just under the brown paint. Said I wanted the truck to look like that dual truck for a while until I actually paint it. Yeah, pretty decent job. My dad is a professional body man, so I kind of learned how to do a lot of this stuff and became pretty good at it. Yeah, there's that dent right there in that door. I don't know how that happened, but that ended up getting fixed pretty good. Yeah, that right there at the bottom of that door is where that dent is. So you can see that came out pretty good right there. Yeah, there's what the fenders started out like. You know, nothing was rotted, it was just rust. If it was in New York State, there'd probably be nothing left to them, but once I sandblasted these, it cleaned it right up. The biggest thing is one of the fenders had a crack on it. I just had to weld. And there's the fender extension, whatever you want to call it. Those are steel too. And well, I guess that's it. I guess I decided to not do any more photos after that, but yeah, there she is. So that's when I got it, and what you just seen in the video is where it is now. So it runs and drives. It's fun. It's got to get finished though, so I'm definitely going to do update videos as I finish this truck. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, because that will help me finish this truck. If you want to see this truck done, all the likes and subscriptions I can get will help me out. This channel, this YouTube channel, will help me get this truck finished eventually, hopefully. So I'd love to take you guys for the ride and do this. So just a short video. I hope you enjoyed watching. And well, we'll see you in the next video. Take care.